finger pointing and politics and who did what wrong. And, you know, I think it's really unfair now that I'm just a resident that, you know, we waited 45 minutes for you guys. And I understand I've been there on the other side. But, you know, to come out here and then for you, Mayor, to talk 25 minutes about the same thing that you talk about every meeting about how we're at fault, and now it's 10:10, it's really unfair to the residents, I just want to say. All right? I'm sorry, what did you say? Okay. The second thing I also wanted to say is...
You know, we spent a long time arguing about trying to get the professional attorney to come out and speak to you.
Right.
The time sink was actually from your own people.
Right, but I'm talking about the 20 minutes you went about the history of how the Democrats did wrong before we started opening to the public. But either way, all right, I think, all right, can I speak now, please? All right. So as far as the professionals, you know, first of all, you pick them, okay? And there seems to be, right, you pick them. So you say, when they don't agree with with you, then obviously there's something wrong with them. That's how you see everyone here. If we don't agree with you, then there's something wrong with us. And right, okay, so Troutman, who actually I asked in the earlier stages of the litigation, that there may be a conflict between your firm and his firm. Right. But then what was the relationship between your firm and his firm when I asked you, when I raised the issue of a possible conflict?
3 partners in that firm had left that firm and come to my firm years before this litigation.
Right. And you also do business with that firm.
I don't do business.
I think I have an email saying I will continue to conduct business with that firm and that there is no conflict between the two of us. So either way, right, Mr. Troutman was a very capable attorney, okay? You picked him, we agreed to stay with him because he was very capable, and now because he didn't agree with you, now you're throwing him under the bus, and now you're you know, saying something else about him.
No, actually, the reality is he excluded us. That's
Right.
what lawyers do. Is that violating their own?
I think if you see all of the agendas that have closed sessions with affordable housing, with the professionals at closed session, we're all discussing the same thing, okay? Right. Because there's a court order against you. And for that matter, Judge Farrington, I understand she's a person, right? Okay, because now you won't let me talk.
Let the resident finish, Mayor.
Right. Thank you. So, you know, I think, like I said, we're all here to listen to what it is that we're going to do. I understand we're going to appeal, okay? So tonight's meeting, I was hoping that maybe we could all be supportive and figure out what we're going to do rather than, again, point fingers, right? And, right. So, in any event, I just want to say that, you know, moving forward, we all need to work together and stop it with the finger pointing, with who did what wrong, you know, and that's it. You know, I'm tired of this. And if this is the case and you're going to continue, then you know what? I don't know how many supporters you'll have in the end, Mayor.
I have no idea what you just said, but the reality of the situation is that you're all in the email excluding us, and then you pretend that you're not being.
Right, because it's all political.
Of course it's political. You made it like that. It should not have been. You put your own political drive ahead of the town's interests.
Don't attack the resident, Mayor.
Fix it then. You call me a bitch, and your husband was nice enough, I never said that. Don't lie, I have you on video.
Listen to us. Calm down, everybody, please. With all due respect, Ken Bowen, 178 Middlesex Avenue. I've come to about 6 or 7 meetings, Mr. Mayor, and the first one I came to, I said, quiet, not here, until you get your heads together. Sit down and try to work things out. We are a laughingstock. I mean, we have people in this room, television, so on and so forth. That's okay. The point is, we got to stop, as you said. with the finger pointing, this, that, they wouldn't let me do this, they wouldn't let me do that, they wouldn't show me this. You know what? You're the mayor. With all due respect, I respect that. And I'm asking you and everybody, hold on. Forget Republicans and Democrats. You know what? We're all in the same boat. Whether we're going to sink, and that's the way it's going from my point of view. It's not right. We sit down and try to resolve issues. I mean, it's picking this, picking that. Nothing gets done. Absolutely nothing gets done. It's nothing but verbiage. All verbiage, some of it is what it is. But I think cooler heads have to prevail. And we're talking about Judge Farrington. At the meeting that we had the last time, the attorneys that represent us, Armenian guy, I don't know his name, so we'll excuse it. He said, why would you want to give up control of our destiny by litigating? Doesn't make a lick of sense. And if Judge Farrington, we put it into her hands, excuse me, my mouth gets dry. Of course she's going to give us the worst. It's her decision. Now you're going to appeal and appeal and appeal. We're not that cash cow. You got to have cooler heads prevail. Sit down. You're the mayor. I respect that, as I said, not be repetitious. Sit down and work things out. That's why you're all here. Forget politics, Republicans and Democrats. I feel like we're on the Andrea Doria and with the Titanic. Where are we going? Resolve our differences.
Do you think I should have all the information relevant to this case?
Well, I think you should grow a backbone. That's what I'm not trying to insult you. I'm not insulting you.
No, that's not my question. Do you think I should have...
You should all be involved with what's going. Yes,
Okay.
it's an absolute
Well, then
yes.
tell them to give it to me.
Well, okay.
See?
You keep,
So easy, right?
no, Mr. Mayor, calm down, let me finish. You asked me a question.
He's asking me to go back on it.
I said, you're the, Mr. Mayor, you were elected the mayor. You are the figurehead. As far as I'm concerned, again, I'm not trying to pick anything. I look at this, you created 800 Sylvan Avenue. You're the one in charge. That's my perception. You're the leader. Again, Judge Farrington, if we had sat down,
I had a solution, sir. They threw it away.
hold on.
I had a solution.
I don't know what the solution was.
I had a plan for 77 units. I now have other plans to satisfy whatever we have to satisfy.
They were on the board.
What I need to do is to tell them to work.
I'm telling all of you. I'm telling you, don't point this one and that. I'm asking you. I'm going to challenge you to sit down and work things out with them. All of you.
Just so you know, every email on this matter that I sent,
Forget about that. You know, Mr. Mayor, it's over. It's over. The emails. What if this? What if that? We could have did this. We should have done that. It's over. We have to deal with now. What we're faced with now. Forget about.
you're not listening.
No, you're not listening. I'm trying to explain.
Everything.
What?
I'm back at the residents who don't agree with
us
you.
last year.
Listen to
That's
the
how I'm trying to
resident.
get to consensus. They're trying to get to the conflict.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, please. Mr. Mayor, you do it.
I know would not have put up with this.
Mr. Mayor.
You want me to throw a backbone? What do you want me to do?
Don't take it personal. What I'm saying is you're the man in charge.
I'll take you back.
You're the man in charge. Sit down. Don't.
It's okay. I understand.
No, you don't understand. We come to these meetings.
You have no facts.
The only facts I have, sir, is what I see. When I come here and just verbiage after verbiage, pointing fingers, it's got to stop.
You know what?
Look at this. I mean, we're in here, and everybody, again,
You have all the facts from the attorney. They wouldn't give it to you.
Mr. Mayor, all right, you talk about
They
facts.
wouldn't give it to you.
Let me say something,
Now you're
please.
saying that's not true.
Mr. Mayor,
This is what we get. This is
Mr.
why
Mayor.
the mailbox is full of garbage.
the last time we were here, I wanted to,
They could have a lot of facts. A lot. Yeah, a lot of facts. But you're not even willing to give them anything.
Listen, you're an attorney.
You know, anything that's a public document can be summarized.
Please, let the public continue.
Mayor, can I speak real quick? I think to start, just a question,
Yeah.
why everyone is here today. My reason for being here is I wanted the borough attorney to summarize for everybody here the 131-page decision on January 17th, and to hear from the public's interpretation of that, and get further ideas so we can work as a committee as a whole to figure out a solution to this.
That sounds good.
We're all on the same page right now with an appeal. The issue is, how do we appeal? Right?
Oh.
What attorneys do we use for the appeal? There's a difference of opinion when it comes in, when we're talking about the details of that. So it's not so simple as coming to a consensus. We do have a consensus on appeal. So there's no question.
Okay, the appeal is the appeal. But talk about the facts. The facts are, from my point of view, Mr. Mayor, up here, well, at the other meetings that we had, you told me we were going to we could substitute Hudson Terrace in lieu of 800. And at that meeting here, I had asked the attorney if we could do that, and he said no. But that's what you told me. Now,
I told you, just to be clear, keep the record straight. I told you the Hudson Terrace property is part of the solution. And we would have to get more property, which we are working on right now. Okay? That's what I told you.
but you said it would diminish the amount of units at 800. Okay, now, let me finish. The attorney said here, once again, negotiate, what?
When did you say it? Today?
I said again, I don't know the Armenian person, the Armenian guy.
We have-
Hold it, he said up here, he said here, at the meeting here.
Okay, July 10th. So
Okay,
We
okay.
didn't have our number yet. We have a number now, which is higher than that.
I know that. I know there was no number, but the point was, he stated, which I totally believe and firmly believe we should have negotiated, when he said, why would you want to take your own destiny out of your hands and give it to Judge Farrington? So now she got 130 some odd page on that,
That's the length of the ruling. And there's a lot of information in there.
I'm sure there is.
We wanted to
What?
present on the facts.
All right, what you want to appeal in what way? In what way and how?
Judge Farrington, here.
You can't
Judge
talk about
Farrington.
We would all agree on that.
Mayor, we cannot.
Oh, okay, it's a confidentiality. All right, confidentiality situation, I get it.
Judge Farrington needs to follow the same laws that everybody else has to follow. If she's wrong, and she was, we appeal, okay? And that's what we're doing. And that's what everybody here should lead with, including you from Baby Padavano, okay? You too, all right? She has to follow the same rules. And by the way, so does your client, okay?
Hold it, Mr. Mayor, speak to me, please. You said her ruling is wrong. Can you give me a synopsis of what is wrong and what law makes her wrong?
I did. You were saying-
Mayor,
I said it 5 times. Okay, I said it 5 times. She's being punitive because we didn't settle. This is America. If you don't settle, you don't get held against you. You go to your trial. Her decision is based on us not settling. That's not good law. That's appealable.
Okay, I get the law, I get it, I understand. I'm not an attorney.
She's taken away the discretion of the master. She completely went over her.
Say that again, please.
The master gave her a number of units, 156.
Mhm.
She said, no, I hate your town so much, I'm going to give you 174.
She said that verbiage? Those were,
Yeah, we need-
she said that? I don't have the opinion.
Well,
No, all right, I mean, that's what I'm asking. If that's her verbiage? That's
Why
her,
wouldn't we follow the master? We just paid this master to advise this judge to hurt us, right? And she still didn't follow it. That's how crazy this is. And that's
But,
why
you know, it's
we're
cr-
Democratic council up here.
forget about the Republic, my Democratic, listen, I'm a conservative Republican, okay? That's what I am. We are all the same, Mr. Mayor. Forget the
We're
politics.
not the same, because we're the same where we all have the same information. Right now, I don't have all the information that they do, so we're not the same.
You just said you got all the emails. Look, again, let it go. Forget about the emails. Let it go. We gotta let it go. We gotta move forward.
My job is to not forget about it. You just told me to go backwards. Don't you want me to fight for them?
That's what I'm asking you. What is that going to prove? What are we going to get is what I'm asking. If we appeal this, what is, in lieu of what she's saying, what are we going to get? In lieu of the appeal.
The goal is to stop Harris Silver from building anything but.
It's not going to stop. With all due respect, Mr. Mayor, when you said you're going to stop it, it's inconceivable.
Well,
It's
that's
totally
exactly the attitude-
disingenuous.
That's exactly the attitude that's making New Jersey circle the grave, right? Everyone-
Forget about New Jersey. I'm not concerned about the rest of it. I'm talking. Listen. If you have the law, you haven't answered my question.
I've answered it 10 times, okay? I'll give you a copy of my speech.
I want a copy. Can I get a copy of the termination or no? That's confidentiality.
What termination?
What the ruling? The ruling.
It's a public document.
He quotes. All right.
It's a public document. They wouldn't let it.
All right. In closing, all I'm asking you, all of you, just work it out. Let's get some resolution. That's the bottom line. We need a positive resolution. Whatever it is, it is. We can't drag this on. All right. Thank you.
You clearly don't understand what Yes.
Say that again, please.
Clearly don't understand what I am.
Mayor, that resident
Listen.
over there's been raising his hand for the last
If
10 minutes.
you know what? It's like you're saying what you're up against. I feel whatever it is, we're all up against it. We're all involved in it because you go on and on.
We shouldn't be fighting with ourselves.
Exactly. And you know what? We look like.
So do you want me to ignore the fact that I'm not getting information, or do you want me to fight?
I said you should have the information, Mr. Mayor. I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing. But, okay, we keep going on and on and on about you're not getting the information. Let it go. You'll get the information.
Probably missed an email. You got the 10
All right, okay.
They're still surrounding me over there.
All right. We got to stop the bickering. Please.
Miss
We're
O'Shea,
grown-ups.
Miss O'Shea, that resident over there,
The mayor acknowledged me. so
no,
it's
he's
fine.
he had his hand up for 10 minutes.
You're
You're not being fair.
Robert's Rules of
Calling
Order.
the people that are supporting you, Mayor.
The mayor picks who's going to talk, Mrs. O. Okay? Mary O'Shea, 12 Irving Avenue, Englewood Cliffs, lifelong resident, and 74 years. I have a couple of questions and a couple of statements. In the beginning of 2019, the professionals came to the planning board and presented the plan for the Hudson Terrace property. And Debbie Sabari was there with Mrs. Geiger, because Mrs. Sabari wasn't sworn in yet. And they questioned the professionals extensively at the end of the meeting. And at that point, it was very obvious that they had this mindset that I believe was calculating how many apartments would give us how much taxes, which would cover the costs, so we'd be better off letting them do it. And unfortunately, when Mrs. Sabari and Jimmy Song were both running for election, they were campaigning against 800 Sylvan. But in my opinion, I believe that there's a very good possibility that Mrs. Sabari, Mrs. O, Jimmy Song, and Mr. Aversa started to develop their plan and what they were going to do right after Mrs. Sabari and Mr. Song were elected in November. Because when they came to the meeting in January, they had a good idea of what they were doing. And then on January 24th, they approved the town's plan after they postponed it from the week or two before. And that was on January 24th. And that was after they had hired Albert Wunsch as the attorney. And then on the 29th, they had a meeting with Wunsch had a meeting with Normandy, which was disclosed in the E-Courts documents presented by Normandy. So I don't believe that their learning curve was that steep from January 3rd to the 24th to the 29th that they could totally do an about face and start to negotiate. And once you're going to negotiate, that means you're going to you're agreeing to have residential properties on commercial property. That was the way that's when you negotiate. You're going in. You're already accepting the idea. So I believe this plan was well concocted, in my opinion, between November and January, and Albert Wunsch was in on it. Okay? And I met him in CVS before the swearing in, and I talked to him about the attorneys. And it's obvious that the deal was done. The deal was already done, okay? And that's very disappointing because Debbie and Jimmy campaigned on a lie because they had no intention of doing what they did, to do what they said, okay? That's just something I want to say. Now, I have a question for Councilwoman Sabari. You live within 200 feet of 800 Sylvan. As a planning board member, we must recuse ourselves if we are going to discuss or deal with anything within 200 feet of property that we own, whether we live there or own it. Now, you never recused yourself from this 800 Sylvan property, besides the fact you took a lead in the Affordable Housing Committee. Don't you think you should have recused? You don't think so? You had a conflict, okay?
I was told I don't, actually.
Pardon me?
I was told I don't.
You would,
I was told I don't have a conflict
by who?
by our attorneys.
Which attorney?
At that time, it was probably Jeff and Joe. I don't remember which one it was, but I'm not conflicted. If I'm conflicted, everybody on this council is conflicted because we all have something to lose.
Can't hear you.
Deciding where
Well, but I'm saying when you own property within 200 feet of the question property, you do have a conflict, and you should not have participated.
I'm sorry, I disagree with you. Thank you.
Okay, you shouldn't have participated.
I disagree.
Now, Councilman Aversa, you participated in the affordable housing, and in the original plans that were talking about overlay zones, both sides of Palisade Avenue were on overlay zones. But once you got involved in the Affordable Housing Committee, the north side of Palisade Avenue, where you have your dentist office, was removed from the overlay zone. Was that coincidental? I know, but that happened to be where you're... No, the south side is still on it. No, the south side... Well, I don't know about now. But you had it off, and you had your property off of it. And that was a conflict again, a conflict for you. You shouldn't have dealt with that, in my opinion. Usually the court's opinion, too. Oh. And my other question is to Councilwoman Sabari. You're president of Ostrich Properties, which
Ostreicher.
develops... Huh?
Ostreicher.
Ostreicher, all right, whatever, which develops commercial and residential real estate. Now, does your company have any ties to Normandy, its principals, or its limited partners? Or do you personally, or any members of your family have ties to Normandy, its principals, or its limited partners?
Absolutely none.
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 Okay.
Never even heard of them before.
Pardon me?
Never even heard of them before this came up in Englewood.
Okay, and you have no plans to do work for them in the future? I mean, you have no contracts
Actually,
coming in the
I have a
future?
very good position, and I don't need to go work for Normandy, but thank you. I'm sure they'd probably welcome me. I'm actually quite good at what I do.
Well, I thought maybe it's possible, that
No,
you had
it's
some
not.
type of future
It's
plan.
not. It's not, but thank you.
No, I'm just asking. I'm asking, Ed.
That's okay.
No, I'm not. I'm asking.
That's
I'm
okay.
asking.
You can ask.
I'm
Asked
asking.
and answered.
I did. I answered, but I'm
And I
talking
answered
to
you.
him now. Okay? And the other question I have is, when you both were on the Affordable Housing Subcommittee, and you negotiated the settlement with Normandy with a non-binding MOU that, yeah, I said, well, don't answer me back, Ed, okay? I try to do that, Ed. I try to be correct in everything I say, okay? But we are allowed to satisfy 25% of our housing obligation with senior citizen housing. And I would like to know why you did not have 25% senior citizen housing in your deal with Normandy, because then it wouldn't have added children to schools for those number of units. Pardon me? I had heard that it wasn't in there. It wasn't written anywhere. I didn't see anything on it. No, I know I didn't. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. You have it this time. Oh, no, I'm sure you do. No, I don't. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, I put an Oprah request in for the MOU, and Ms. Duffy denied it, but not you didn't deny it. Rosemary denied it under Mr. Marinello's direction. But I would like to ask this council to declare that non-binding MOU that Mr. Wunsch signed on behalf of Ellen Park, Debbie Sabari, and Etta Versa to be made non-confidential and public, being one of you mailed it to the Record, and they have a copy, so I think the public should have a copy. So I think, like you can declassify something. The MOU is not valid anymore because you didn't follow it, so classify it non-confidential and let the citizens get a copy. How's that sound? Could you do that? Could you make a motion? One of you make a motion to declassify the MOU?
It's not proper to release the document.
Pardon me?
It's not proper to release the document. It's a confidential. That's what the records told you.
Well, she has it. She got it in a white plain
I don't
envelope.
have it. I don't
Mailed
have
to
it.
her office.
Nobody gave it to her from the borough.
There's no provision in there that says.
It's a confidential settlement-related document.
So then let it be operable.
You don't Oprah confidential documents.
But I'm saying, make it non-confidential. If the newspaper has it, why can't we have it?
Because I don't know that the newspaper has it. They
Well,
just
she
said they
said
had
she
it.
had it,
That doesn't
and they
mean
put
she
it in the
has it.
paper that they had it.
But they don't. Nobody's shown it to me.
Well, no, I didn't see it. I asked for a
Yeah,
copy. She
that's
said
right.
she can't give it to me.
Well, she didn't give it to me either.
Well, you have a copy, so declare it
I can't-
non-confidential.
Just because if you
Scratch
told,
off the
if you
confidential
told me-
stamp.
If you told me that you had the MOU,
I don't have it.
I know that. But let's follow me for a minute. If you told me that you had the MOU, do you think that that means we should release it to everybody in town because you told me you had it?
Well, then why don't you sue the Record for putting it in the
They sued
paper
the
that
Record
they
for what?
they have it if they don't have it?
You can't sue the Record to ask them if they have the document or not.
She wrote what she wrote. She stands by what she wrote.
That's
She
right.
has the MOU.
I
Okay,
didn't
and
give it
she's
to her.
not, as, it doesn't affect her as it affects all of us. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, the name is Nancy Yang, 79 Roberts Road. This is the second time that I have come to the council meeting. It seems to me it is very, very difficult for the two sides to come along. And I don't know how much time we have before we have to go to the court to plead. I just have a proposal. I mean, as a citizen of the town, I'm not with any party, but just in the best interests of the town. Is it possible, now that I think the council have decided to give the job to mayor and Councilman Wu to be on the committee to take care of this affordable housing case, since they are put in to work on this whole thing, would it be possible that the council